Welcome to Forest Chat, where we talk about individual endeavour in Western Australia, what it takes, what it means, and how you do it. I'm your host, Paul Vandermeer, and in today's episode, we're talking with Daniel Stevens about Bayswater Men's Shed. Daniel joined Bayswater Men's Shed around the time that it formed in 2015 and has been an integral part of Bayswater Men's Shed since then. Welcome to Forest Chat, Daniel. I was going to say welcome to Bayswater Men's Shed, Daniel.
Thanks, Paul. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Daniel, men's sheds are all over the place, and some people might see them and not understand what they are. Can you give us an idea what they actually are?
Yeah, they're basically places where men can go and socialise and do mainly, design and technology projects like metalwork, woodwork. I know a lot of men's sheds do mechanics and different things as well. So generally what will happen, they go and do an activity and then they have a morning tea break and then they do the activity and then they normally close about lunchtime, 1 o'clock.
So all sorts of manual sort of things that guys might have done as possibly work in the past?
Yes. We actually started in 2015. There was a councillor by the name of Terence Keenan, and he saw how successful the men's sheds were right around Australia. So he said, I want to get one in Bayswater. So he moved the motion at a Bayswater City Council meeting, and it got passed, and it just went from there. I think today we're on 69 members. Our membership has fluctuated a bit because of COVID. Yeah, we're going pretty strong, and we were very fortunate that the City of Bayswater got us a building to use, which was that because that's really the the hard part. But yeah, we're very fortunate. We're going pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, so the council or a councillor was really big in getting this set up.
Yeah.
And obviously the council got behind it. So is that the same for other men's sheds, or are you not so familiar with that?
Yeah, it also depends if it's in the country. Like councils in the country tend to give more. So generally, the City of Bayswater are pretty good to us, but it all depends really. But I'd say most councils would be pretty supportive of getting a men's shed in their area. Yeah.
Certainly in Australind, where I live, there's a men's shed in the Leschenault community area, down around where the pool is and the ovals and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I've not actually been there, but what's the facility like?
Well, every men's shed is different. Like some men's sheds do just computers and some men's sheds just do motor mechanics. It all depends. Every men's shed is different. My men's shed, we basically do woodwork, metal work, and we're also doing a bit of photography. We're starting off with doing little special interest groups as well, but mainly if you go to my shed, we only really have got metal work and woodwork facilities really.
You say you've got about 69 members, so metalwork and woodwork, sometimes people do both, but often they do just the one. Is there a bit of a split up?
Yeah, there is a split up. Some people do metalwork, some people do woodwork, and there are very, very rare people that sort of do both. And obviously you've got to keep those facilities separate because obviously, you can't sort of mix woodwork and metalwork. You've got to keep those facilities separate because, woodwork is sort of like clean, whereas metalwork is a bit dirtier. And, like you got welding and oxy-torch cutting and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
It's a bit like how you would set your shed up at home. You've got wood on one side and metal on the other, or only wood or only metal.
Yeah.
And here you've got both.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
We can easily talk about what type of work you do, but what comes out of the men's shed?
One of the great things I think is that people, the general public, will come in and they'll say, can you fix my grandfather's cabinet, or I don't have the machinery to do this, can you do this for us? And they'll give us a donation and we'll get the job done for them, and just the sense of appreciation is very satisfying to see that we're able to help people and have the facilities there, because obviously not everybody has that type of machinery, and if somebody's got an old cabinet that maybe their grandfather gave them and they don't know how to do it up, so they'll generally say to the men's shed, can you do this up for us, and then give us a donation. So yeah, it works out really good.
So it's a real two-way street with the community.
Yeah.
What sort of projects have you been involved with directly?
Oh, I've built so many things at the men's shed. One of the fascinating things that I built was I don't know if you remember the TV show Black Gold. You know, the oil rig in America. I welded up a little oil rig for my garden, and I've got a couple of plastic figures to look like oil rig drillers, and that's sitting in my garden quite nicely. So. Yeah, so that's probably the most memorable thing that I've built. And then just different woodwork things for my house, and it's just been and the friendships that you build as well. Obviously, being a member of an organisation like that, it's been good.
Morning tea's an important part, right?
Absolutely, yep. We have a rule in our men's shed that from 10 to 10:30, all machinery and all work stops. So you go into the meeting room and sit down and have a coffee, a cake, or whatever so that's very important, because that's the main thrust behind it. To make sure that, and it's been wonderful too, because one of our members, his marriage has unfortunately collapsed, and he had nowhere to live, and another men's shed member was able to help him out and get him a room at his house. So it's been really good to see all those friendships build, and everyone look out for one another and help one another. It's a good thing, yeah.
So what do guys do without the men's shed then?
Well, I don't know, because it's just, since it was started in the 90s in Australia, it's the only organisation that was started in Australia that's gone international. It's now in 25 different countries, and it's just been a wonderful success. And I don't really know. I think they'd probably have to they'll probably have to stay in their own sheds. But but COVID was a very scary time. Because you just didn't know when the men's shed we were going to be able to restart again. You know what I mean? So.
It closed down over that time?
Absolutely, yeah, it closed down. But a couple of the committee members would come in and just once a week, just to make sure that everything was okay, and then they'd lock it up again. Yeah, but yeah, that was a pretty scary time for everybody, and but fortunately we got through that, and eventually it opened up again, and everyone was able to see everyone again, which was good.
And did the numbers grow or diminish after that?
Fluctuated. It all fluctuates, and my dad is in the 2J men's shed, and it fluctuates. Every men's shed has its ups and downs with its members, but I think we started with about 100 members, and we've just sort of gone. We've had patches of growth and then decline, but we have been pretty fortunate that we've had a good committee, and we've had good leadership, and we've had a couple of our members who have been design and technology teachers, so that has helped as well, to make sure if anybody's not sure on anything that we've got those guys to get their help from.
So other guys who are coming along, so these guys have got a technology type background, so they were doing woodwork and metalwork as teaching?
Yep.
But also other things like photography as well, weren't they? So they won't be the only ones bringing those skills, though, will they?
No, we've got different tradespeople and different people from all different backgrounds. But the good thing about my men's shed is that we've got members that are senior, and we've got people that are in their 30s. So we've got people from all different ages, which is really good. I just want to point out Wundowie Men's Shed. I was at the Men's Shed conference about 4 or 5 years ago, and Wundowie Men's Shed in the Shire of Northam, they've got 3 generations of members. They've got the grandfather, the father, and the son, all members. So it's great. It's just wonderful what you can do if you set your mind to it, and you can get like 3 generations of families behind you. So.
Is there a formal limit to how old you need to be to get into it?
No. You can be any age. We have a constitution, and we have bylaws, and that deals with how you behave in the shed, or if the shed does a excursion somewhere, and just the way it deals with the way you treat other members. You've got to treat other members professionally and not just come to the men's shed and behave however you want. We make sure that we've got rules, and and then when you're communicating with other people, that you treat people with respect. And so we've got a very strong constitution and bylaws. It has been broken a few times, and we've had to pull people up, but generally it's been pretty good. People who want to join, we just make sure that they understand that we've got a constitution, we've got bylaws like any other organisation, and we want people to follow those and get into the men's shed and get into all the activities. And if that happens, generally no problems will occur.
That's great to hear. So, thinking about this when can you start aspect, if for example you're a family, you've got a youngster who's still in school and doesn't really have too many career ideas, would they be a potential for the father and son or something to come along to the men's shed?
Yeah, we did have the guy who was from one of the Rotary clubs, and he had a program where there was women that are in domestic violence, and they had their sons, and their sons didn't have anything to do on the weekend. So I think there were 2 or 3 of them, and he used to bring them to the men's shed on Saturdays. It would have been about for at least for a couple of months, and that was really good, and I think it helped them as well. But generally, they need to be under a parental guardian, obviously. I mean, they can't just come in and use all the machinery themselves. They still have to be under a parental guardian. But generally, you just got to wait till they turn 18, and then, they can join officially, you know what I mean?
Right. So 18 is basically the standalone member age.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and clearly there's been some good work done there with people who would be bringing those youngsters along who come along on the Saturday.
Yeah, that was a wonderful project that the Rotary Club had. I don't know what happened to it. I think it just ended. But it's wonderful, and I think all our members enjoyed those young guys coming along, and their age didn't. Had no discrimination, because we were all men, and we were all wanting to socialise and get along, and it was good.
And does the men's shed get involved in other community projects?
Yeah, if councils ask us to do a job, we will. If you go along the Swan River, town of Bassendean, city of Bayswater area along the Swan River, a terrible mosquito problem. So the city of Bayswater paid the Bayswater men's shed a certain amount to build these boxes, and what happens is a box with a vacuum cleaner, and so what happens, these mosquitoes go in and they die.
They get sucked in and can't get out.
So that was a very successful project, and so but the town of Bassendean haven't done it with their side of the Swan River, but when you come into the city of Bayswater side of the Swan River, you will see these little machines that operate in summer and just to kill off the mosquitoes, because I don't know if you've been in that area, Paul, but the mosquitoes are quite strong.
They love it there.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Must be a good area.
Yeah, it is, well, you get bitten quite a lot, but no, so those are the types of things that, if the council need us to do anything, they know that we're available, and they pay us a fee, and we'll get the things built for them.
Just like the person who brings in a cabinet and makes a donation, it's a similar type of thing.
That's right. Yeah.
And you mentioned about special interest groups. So what's happening in that space?
Oh, well, we've already started some special interest groups. We've got a photography group, which you would be interested in, because I know you like photography. We've got a games group that meets on Wednesday that do board games and darts and pool. We wanted to start a CAD technical drawing sort of a group as well, like learning how to do that type of stuff. And so it's been good. We've just got ourselves organised now to break off into special interest groups and start doing what people are interested in. And this photography group, we're looking at doing excursions to the Bassendean Railway Museum. We're looking at going to the East Fremantle Boat Harbour to do photography excursions, because I think most of the guys with the photography like to take photos of cars or scrap yards or trains or things like that.
So there's also an opportunity there if you know or have access to an interesting area that there'd be interest in going there with a group to take photos of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yep.
Yeah, so especially like I interviewed a guy, we talked about the Military Digital Museum, and they were doing a specific project, and there could be potential for projects like that as well, is there? Or
Absolutely, yep. No, we could, yeah. There's all different projects that we could do, but generally we've mainly the council and members of the public come and say, can you do this for us? And we've been able to. We don't have facilities to do motor mechanics. So we don't have that facility. Whereas if you go to Mosman Park do have those facilities. So I'll tell you a funny story. We had a member who had a carer with him because he had an intellectual disability, and he said, I want to build a caravan, and obviously we don't have the facilities to do that. But Bill Voss, one of the design and technology teachers, says, okay, well, draw it. I want to see a drawing. And you go, oh, well, no, I can't sort of, well, so, yeah, so things look easy, but when you start doing it, so it's important to realise, that we don't have the facilities to do everything, but we're only really got facilities mainly to do woodwork and metalwork stuff. So I would say probably some of the best men's sheds with facilities. Gosnells have got fantastic facilities. Mosman Park have got fantastic facilities. Bassendean have got fantastic facilities. So they're all around. And I just want to tell you a quick story about Bassendean, because I'm in the Bassendean Lions Club, and we started the Bassendean men's shed out, and it took such a long time. We actually have our meetings at the Bassendean men's shed, and the Bassendean men's shed was started in 2009, and they got a building in 2019. And basically, what took so long is the build where they are now, right next to the Railway Museum. It's on the corner of May Holman Drive and Railway Parade in Bassendean, and basically there were 7 trees. And I don't know if you know the makeup of the town of Bassendean Council, but the town of Bassendean Council are made up of half Labor, half Greens, and they were causing so much, over 7 trees, in an industrial area, and so it took such a long time and finally there was an agreement that the 7 trees get knocked down, and then the building gets put there, and then we replace the 7 trees. But it was for 7 months, and it was very, very frustrating. But that song, Glory, Glory, Hallelujah, when the building finally got up, I think we were all singing that song because it took such a long time. But it's satisfying now to sort of drive past the Bassendean men's shed, drive past the Bayswater one, and see just how long it took to get them going. But once they're up and running, it's good,
Obviously, there's a big capital investment, I'll call it, because you've got to have a building and somewhere to park, and obviously machinery and power and all these sorts of things to go in it. So there's a few things for sale as well, I think, on the Bayswater Men's Shed website. Yeah,
they do. So if anybody wants any different products or anything, we can produce those, which is a really good. A lot of the men's sheds you can buy. Those street libraries. It's like a box with books in them.
Oh
yeah. So we make those. But different little woodwork items. Members of the public can go on the website and see. And sometimes, like, our members will build something and they don't want it, and then we have to put it on the website to try and sell it, obviously. If it's a big item that takes up a lot of room, we have to sort of try and get it moved on. So, we'll put that on the for sale page on our website.
We've talked about quite a few different things that the Bayswater Men's Shed contributes to society, everything from mosquito control to libraries. We've also heard some stories about people who want to do particular things. Do you have any stories about the good that the Men's Shed has done?
I think one of the just the satisfying stories is, like, there was a lady who came in, and I think she had a cabinet that her grandfather left her, and obviously she didn't know how to restore it, and she said, can you restore this for me, because I don't know how to do it. And so she gave us a donation, and we did it. And to see her face, just tears of joy, it's good. It's a good feeling, and to help people like that. And because obviously that would bring back memories of her grandfather, you know what I mean? To see the cabinet restored and stained and varnished, and so that's a pretty good feeling.
Yeah, all back in tip-top condition.
Yeah, yep.
So what does it take you to be a member of the Bayswater Men's Shed?
I think you just have to be of a professional character, so you have to be able to treat people professionally and have patience, and and not just yell and go off the deep end. It's important to have those skills, because we want our members to treat everybody professionally, and members of the public professionally as well. So and just being willing to learn. Like being willing to learn new things, and also to be able to interact with other people and sit down and talk with them as well. Yeah, that's basically, I think, what it really takes.
And then if you have skills that are used in the metalwork area or in the woodworking area, obviously in that Bayswater, that'd be very welcome as well, I would imagine.
Yeah, well, where the Bayswater Men's Shed is, it's in the Bayswater industrial area, and we've been very fortunate to get all the businesses around there get right behind us and support us, which has been really good. And like if we need a forklift, or we need, because we have a big engraving machine, and we had to move it to the room upstairs. So fortunately, one of the businesses around the corner was able to lend us a forklift and come and do that. And yeah, it's good to have that Bayswater industrial area right, all those businesses right behind us as well. It's good.
So if someone wanted to become a member, how would they go about that?
Just simply come to the shed, probably come a couple of times, see if you enjoy it. Because I don't know, you might end up going to another men's shed, and that might be, but yeah, come to our men's shed a couple of times, see if you like it, and then fill out a membership form, pay the membership fee, and you're all rubber stamped and ready to go. And we've got a shirt, a men's shed shirt, and we've got a men's shed cap or a bucket hat. So we've got different merchandise items members can purchase, which is good. So it gets our name out there.
That adds to that community, the belonging to a group, and that sort of thing. So that's really nice to see.
Yeah. Once a year we have the Men's Shed conference. It changes different venues, but yeah, I went to one year up at Stirling, and it's good to meet all the other guys from all the other Men's Shed and to see just how big this organisation has gotten. I think we're up to about 250 men's sheds in Western Australia. I mean, it's just growing absolutely unbelievably, very successful. There'd be very, very few councils that wouldn't have a men's shed in their area now. And so when you go to the men's shed conference, you talk to other guys and you see what they're doing in their men's shed. And obviously the men's sheds of WA have an office in Claremont, and I think they have about 6 employees, and they constantly get people ringing up, wanting to see how they can start a men's shed. One of the most unique men's sheds, I mean, we're in the city of Gosnells right now. I think the city of Gosnells has got 3 or 4 men's sheds, but one of their men's sheds is over in Langford. It's the Langford Aboriginal Association. And that men's shed is just for Aboriginal guys who want to do the artwork. They do Aboriginal artwork, and they come under our insurance. So obviously Gosnells has got their main men's shed, and I think there's a men's shed up at the retirement village as well. So yeah, that's another thing that's been happening, is that retirement villages, a lot of the new ones that are being built, they're putting a men's shed in, so it's all accessible, you know what I mean? So it's all available. So when men end up in a retirement village, there's a men's shed for them to participate in.
That's excellent, and good forward planning.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Anything more that we might talk about?
Well, yeah, because you would have watched John Paul Young, yesterday's hero. Yeah, that would have been around when you were a youngster. Yeah, so yeah, he's sort of been the ambassador of the men's sheds the Australian men's shed body. And he did a song for us for the men's sheds, a little jingle song, which has been pretty successful. And he does a podcast as well. We have our state office in Claremont, but the Australian office is in Newcastle. So yeah, we're pretty fortunate to have a state body and a federal body, and they're very helpful. In case we get into legal problems or we have any issues, we can sort of rely on them to get advice. And because obviously insurance is very, very important, so we, to make sure that when people come into the workshop, that they know how to use the machinery, that if anything happens to them, like if they injure themselves, that there's insurance, because public liability insurance and all that, it's a nightmare, so to make sure that they're covered. So yeah, to have the federal body and the state body, it's good.
Absolutely. I have listened to a few of I think it's called the Shed podcast.
Yeah.
And I have listened to a few of those, so we'll put some links in the show notes so people can find all these different things that we talk about. So.
Yeah. And it's been really good seeing federal politicians get behind the men's shed as well. I know Senator Tyrone Whitten, he went to the Subiaco men's shed, I think a couple of months ago as a guest speaker, and it was good that he showed support for them. And I think Bayswater had Donna Farragher, who was a Liberal MLC, but she's since retired, but she came to one of our functions. And so it's like the men's shed are an Australian institution now, and they're sort of part of our culture and society, and it's great to see that these politicians getting right behind it, because they know what a wonderful thing the men's sheds do in different communities.
Absolutely, and Tyrone Whitten, he's right into all that sort of thing. He's got a construction background himself and that sort of thing, so he would understand it almost implicitly, the importance of how that all comes together.
Yeah. It's good. And it's just seeing Bayswater and Bassendean men's sheds start out has been really an eye-opener for me, just to see, what's involved to start something from nothing into, successful men's sheds, you know what I mean? Because, Bayswater's sitting on 69 members, Bassendean's on about 153, and Bassendean have actually had to put an extension onto their building because they're just getting so many members now. But as I said to you before, Bassendean didn't even get a building. They had the Bassendean Lions Club gave them $25,000. That acted as a deposit, and then they went to Lotteries West. Lotteries West gave them $200,000, and then the building, Stratco and Canning Vale, they made the building, they put it on a truck, take it up to Bassendean and assemble it all, and then lay the concrete, and then you've got to do all the interiors and the water and install everything. And then the difference is, like Bayswater were given a fixed building, whereas Bassendean, they had to sort of start from scratch, and they're still both functioning. It's really wonderful. One of the things I also wanted to point out to you, Paul, is that we're very fortunate in WA that we have Lotteries West. So if any organisations or clubs or anything need any assistance, they can go to Lotteries West and they can get a grant. Over in the eastern states, they don't have that. A lot of men's sheds, if they want to start out, if you live in Sydney or Melbourne or Brisbane, land and to get a building is very, very expensive. So unless you have a lawyer or a politician or somebody that can give you a loan, no interest, a loan to do a building, and to you're really facing an uphill battle. So people don't realise in Western Australia just how fortunate we are that we have Lotteries West that can help people with, and it's not just men's sheds, but it's other groups as well, that if they need a grant, that they obviously have to do the paperwork and do all that kind of stuff, and then they get that grant, and that's just a brilliant help.
Yeah, it's very helpful to have that for sure. I know a number of sporting bodies have been assisted by Lotteries West.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and we just don't know how fortunate we are in Western Australia to have it. We'll just have to see how big the men's sheds grow. And as I said, my one would be probably totally different to my father's one up in Tooja, you know what I mean? Because my dad's in a country town, I'm in a a suburb of Perth. So it's just you got that difference as well.
People come with different skills and different expectations. I would
Yeah,
expect.
and you know that people in the country are different. You know, like when you go to a country town, it's more laid back. It's more, people, whereas the city, everywhere it's a bit of a rush and everyone's, but yeah. I just also wanted to state, like we talk about, we're at Park Run this morning. What's amazing to me is, like Park Run's like a wonderful thing and men's sheds are a wonderful thing. And like, I was born in 79 and I grew up in the 80s and 90s. I mean, we never had Park Run or men's sheds, you know what I mean? So I don't know what I would do without a Park Run and men's sheds, now, because they just become such an integral part of your life, especially on a Saturday morning. So to see how, well, because Park Run would be like a physical education sort of thing, whereas men's shed's like a design and technology sort of an idea, and yeah, they've just become extremely popular and serve a purpose,
They definitely serve a purpose, and you can tell that because of the amount of growth that they have.
Yeah.
And that just ensures that everybody knows that there's actually a lot of good being done in those organisations.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, we talk about Saturday morning. We know Park Run is only on Saturday mornings, except you can do Christmas and New Year as well on the years they're not on a Saturday.
Yeah.
What sort of hours, timing does men's shed?
Well, every men's shed's different. I know the Bassendean men's shed, for whatever reason, they don't like to open on Saturday. They only open during the week, and that's fine. That's the way that they want to run. But Bayswater, we run Monday, Wednesday, Thursday and Saturday, 8 till 12 o'clock. Those are our hours. And yeah, we have once a month, because I'm now the vice president of the Bayswater men's shed. I was the very first president back in 2015. And I had a year as president. I had a year on the committee. And then I had a break. And last AGM, I got elected as vice president. So I've been to about 2 or 3 committee meetings. So once a month we have a committee meeting and we bring up ideas. And what we want to do, we want to try and make the shed function well, make sure that it's that we're in good financial position and that our members are enjoying themselves, and it's a place to have fun, you know what I mean? Like, and it's a place to enjoy themselves, and, and that's very, very important.
Yeah, that's critical. And that's part of why it's successful, is that people enjoy being there.
Yeah.
You talk about fun, but, fun isn't skylarking and stuff like that, because you run into trouble from a health and safety perspective, I would imagine. But it's that fun that you have with sharing the work with others and getting along and meeting your mates and having that dedicated morning tea break, all that good stuff.
Yep, that's it. I think that's very important, and and like, I suppose when I go into my house and I see all the things that I made at the men's shed, also that brings back memories of like, oh, I remember when I built that in the men's shed. And then as I said, when I go into my backyard and I see that oil rig, that little model oil rig. Did you ever used to watch the show Black Gold? Remember the show Black Gold?
No, I don't remember.
No,
that
it was
one
it was a reality TV show about an oil rig in Texas, and very, very stressful job. They have to drill. They only have a certain amount of time to drill an oil well, and then they actually move it somewhere else, and it's I said, I've got that place in the backyard, and I had those 3 oil rig figures that the big scale ones, and I said, oh well, I'll build this oil rig, and so I built it, and I put it all into place, and yeah, it just looks really, really good. Then I put the drill in, and I also made a little the toolbox. I had this metal toolbox. I turned it into like the office, like for all the workers to go in. And so it's just to have a bit of fun, and something a bit different. And I also even got a Texaco sign, so I got that cut, and I was able to put that on it as well. So it just makes it look a little bit So no, you do all those sort of things, and it brings back memories about how you built it and you put it all together, and yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Daniel, for being on
thanks.
Forest.chat.
Yeah. Thank you very much for having me, Paul, and yeah.
And all Forest.chat listeners wish you the best with your future endeavours.
Yeah, thank you very much. And if anyone wanted to come and visit the Bayswater Men's Shed. We're on 21 King Street, Bayswater. They'll be most welcome to come and have a look. And yeah.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday in the mornings.
Yep, 8 till 12, yeah. And yeah, we would love to have you.
You've been listening to Forest Chat, where we talk about individual endeavour in Western Australia, what it takes, what it means, and how you do it. I'm your host, Paul Vandermeer, and in today's episode we've been talking with Daniel Stevens about Bayswater Men's Shed. Remember, there are 4 ways to get involved with Forest Chat. Share the domain Forest Chat with your friends and family and people you meet. When you sign up for emails, you get advance notice of episodes. Listen to the episodes at forest.chat/episodes. If you do something interesting or that other people might find interesting, book an interview at forest.chat/interview. If you want to support a small business, book an advert at forest.chat/advert. I'm looking forward to joining you with our next guest. Until then, enjoy making it happen.